Hello everybody and welcome back to yet another cast, another game, another epic brawl between some of the most talented godlike players in the TA Escalation community. I thank you all for being here. I appreciate you joining my channel and watching this video. Guys, I promise you this is going to be an enjoyable game. I promise you it's going to be a banger. 100%. Take it to the bank. Don't even question it. It's going to be an awesome game. If you're new to my channel, if this is one of the first videos you're watching, we are playing a mod for a game called Total Annihilation, which is an old-style RTS that came out in the year 1997, even before StarCraft, which came out in 1998. So this is even more OG than the OG. This is a game that has been around forever, almost 30 years now. I'm sort of aging myself as I divulge this information. But guys, I love it. I grew up playing this. It's still a great RTS to this day. The mods and all the community support has kept it alive, and so if you haven't watched a game before, I promise you, just stick around and you will see all the awesome features and qualities of this game, and I will explain that to you as we go along. But before that, let's go ahead and talk about the map a little bit. So this map is called Hell on Earth. You have obviously the traditional landmass between the two player bases. It's technically a 4v4 map, but today we're doing a 3v3 style game, and that's going to be an interesting twist to the formula that will give one player on each team more metal, I think, to work around with. And then you have these pools of lava. Now, because there's no water, obviously naval and hovercraft isn't really a thing, but air is most certainly a thing on this map because air can go around these lava pools, and obviously regular units can't walk into the lava, but aerial units have no problem flying over it. So let's go ahead and introduce the players. Here on the... Let's go ahead and start with the south team. We have, in purple, starting as our ARM faction, Mr. ADJ2AC, the ARM commander there. Going vehicles first, it seems. Yep, going vehicles first. Here in light blue, we have Conflict Crusher, the core player, going K-Bots first. And finally, we have Race, and he is our blue ARM commander. Now, Race on this team will be probably the most important player. Race is one of the fan and community favorites. Just a very strong late-game macro player. Just likes to overwhelm his opponents with sheer pressure and firepower and economic domination, and it seems like Race typically plays ARM. He can play core, but it seems like he prefers ARM to me. So this will be our southern team, or team 1, or our western team, sort of a southwestern team. And here in the north we have, of course, Son of Gondor, either Boromir or Faramir. We're not really sure, but either way, he is a Son of Gondor, and he is the pink ARM commander, and he will be starting K-Bot first. Here in green, we have Daniel Isaiah, and he is also going ARM. And finally, we have Diehat. So the northern team is all ARM. That's an interesting choice because lately in a lot of my casts, it feels like everyone's been going core. So I like that we get more ARM representation. Guys, it's all about representation on this channel. It's all about diversity. It's all about inclusion. We need to have both factions represented if you want me to cast these games. It's just not fun to only cast one side of the spectrum. And in fact, in this entire game, there's only one core player, and that is light blue. So it is mostly an ARM showdown in this particular match. And already we're having some skirmishes breaking out. But guys, on the northern team, our red player, Diehat, who I believe is a Chinese player, he will be the Titan of the north. So keep an eye on these two players, red and blue. Those are going to be the Titans of the match, I think. Those are going to be the two sort of strongest links on either team, and you've really got to watch how these guys play it, because they're two of the best players, two great, you know, late game macro style champions. And so I think if we watch how this whole thing sort of pans out in the long term, I think we will see these two titans clash in combat. Let them fight Godzilla style in the kaiju type movies. Let them fight. Let these two brawl. I'm excited to see it. I'm totally ready. I don't know if you can tell, but I am very hyped for where this match goes. But already, Race piling on the pressure. He's got 45 metal per second and still on T1. Guys, if you haven't played this game a lot, maybe you don't know, but having 46 metal per second and actually staying on T1 and using your metal is quite an achievement. Like, you've got to have so much production power. He's got 2 K-Bot labs and 2 vehicle plants just spamming out units. There's an assembly line of flashes and peewees racing across the field, pun intended, and causing all kinds of havoc for that northern team. As you can see, Race has tons of units, but not to be outdone is Pink, son of Gondor, but, you know, Pink's not really able to use his metal, so he's trying here. He's got a few peewees, but struggling, I think, overall to use all of his resources. But again, here is Race pushing in with more peewees and flashes, and it seems like the northern team is pretty ready for this. They do have a nice sized defense, and Purple pulled all of his forces back to stop those couple raiding units from Pink. I like that Pink included a radar in the mix there, which will give him vision of what he's attacking. And Die had, it seems, the first player to go air. We did see him building this aircraft plant earlier, and it looks like he will go for a bomber straight away, looking for that early game aggression. Those early game bombing runs can make the difference in this amazing 3v3 clash. So, yeah, let's see what this bomber can do. Does it have any kills yet? Only 1 kill. He is bombing mexes, or he's bombing spots that don't even have extractors on them yet, so that's going to be pretty ineffective overall. But guys, yeah, let's keep an eye on what's going on. Purple has massed a huge army of flashes, and maybe in conjunction with Race's endless supply of units, the southern team can actually get something done. Right now, it feels like Race is making enough units for his whole team, or he's the only one really contributing to the frontline battle. So on a map like this, your team has to make T1 early on. I see a lot of people on a map like this, they want to just skip T1 and rush to T2 or T3 because, you know, T1's kind of boring sometimes, and it feels like the game will never end on T1. It typically won't in a big, you know, 3v3, 4v4 game. But guys, I cannot express how important it is to actually make units on T1, contribute to the fight, because if you don't, your team will simply collapse if the enemy team is making a huge army and you're not, because you think that it's not necessary. So Race really carrying his team here, doing a lot of the heavy lifting, because if you can keep the fighting in the middle, that is much preferable to having the fighting happening in your base, on your side of the map, taking out your eco. Like every RTS, you know, having a good economy and production will make the difference. And so I do like that both teams really making a lot of units. Huge engagements happening both in the north and the south as Race pushing through with all of his flashes and peewees. And as I've mentioned before in previous casts, I am a huge aficionado of Race. I'm a huge advocate. I am a Race purveyor. I am a race lover. In fact, some might even go so far as to call me a racist. I wouldn't go that far, but it's I've been called it before more than once, so maybe there's something to it. I love this guy. Bringing flashes into Red's base, he will be forced to resort to the D-gun, and ultimately I think he can clean this up with this lone Zeus that has just popped out of the factory. So nice job by Race, really piling on the pressure on the northern team, but not truly able to get any serious economic damage done with Red and his D-gun really saving his life there. But I do have to say, I mean, look at Race's pressure here. I mean, the southern team definitely has better map control, no doubt about it. That's another reason to spam T1 early on. Is like you want to get as much map as you can. It's the early game is just kind of a land grab type type scenario where both teams are just fighting to gain as much territory as they can, and then once they have that territory, they'll start throwing up defenses like you see here to try and secure it. So having more volume early on, having more units, allowing yourself to take the map, allowing yourself to get control of that territory and then claim it for your own will give you an advantage that lasts into the game and can often bring your team victory if you can hold on to the territory that you have conquered. But yeah, look, Son of Gondor still pushing through. Not much getting accomplished though. Daihat still seems to be the only player on air at this point. Nope, I take that back. Race has entered the sky, but right now both players, like I said, these two players are the ones to watch. They will be the titans of this. Pink bringing through a nice combination of Rockos and hammers. But I do think this isn't enough units to really cause much trouble. The southern team should be able to stop this without too much effort. Race still pushing through, and I have to say the northern team has done a commendable job of building enough defenses to prevent Race from simply rolling over them or just squashing them with firepower. Even still, look at Race's endless supply of units. I mean, it is just absolute joy to watch, just the amount of pressure he can put on. He's got 80 metal per second, and he's got, you know, basically double the metal of everyone else in the game. Of anyone else in the game. Even Green saying in the chat, Race beating us by himself. I mean, Race really is a one-man show here. He is quite a phenom. Red getting a little upset as Light Blue bringing forth a squad of storms there that could get some damage done. As Race continues to play a 1v3 type of game in the middle, it takes the entire enemy team to stop him. And Daihat clearly getting frustrated. Of course, Daihat has teched the T2 really quickly, and he's had very minimal production. I think he may only have... Yeah, he only has one K-Bot lab in the world, so... Red clearly trying to tech up. He did take some of these mexes, so... Red does have a bit more economy, but not as much as Race. I mean, Race was given basically 2 whole players worth of eco, and he is using it tremendously well, splendidly, and that is apparent by just the number of units. Like I said, like Race almost... If you download Escalation, which by the way, I put it in the description. Sometimes people watch my video and they're like, how can I get this? I don't know how to make it simpler for you guys. I literally, every video have in the description, a link to a YouTube video explaining how to install this mod. Not only how to install the mod, how to buy the game. I mean, if you don't know how to go on Steam and or GOG and buy games, like I even go through how to do that, you know. I stopped short of how to, you know, get your credit card out of your wallet, or, you know, but I mean, I really, it couldn't be much easier. Please, just read the description. I've got the tutorial. You could play this yourself. But, yeah, if you're interested in playing, on sale, this game is a couple dollars. The mod is free. Yeah, it's basically a free-to-play game at this point. So, please, if you're interested in playing, we'd love you to join our community. I have a Discord. We have a Discord. We will help you as much as we can. But as I was saying, if you're playing this game and you're having like a, you know, playing against the AI, if you play against the AI, this is what the AI does, you know, like, it's not very smart, but it's very good at just pumping out endless waves of units. It's almost like a tower defense playing against the AI, especially the harder ones. And there's a lot of work that's been done on the AI over the years for Escalation, so yeah, Race sort of plays like that. I mean, he just overwhelms you with sheer stuff, and it becomes difficult to stop because, you know, once you're kind of pushed into a corner of the map, it's hard to get out of it. But Diehat doing a decent job here. He's got some Zeuses. Race has thrown up a Sentinel, and so this is a well-placed defense. And throwing up another one there. But I like what Diehat's doing here. Purple may have found a bit of an opening in the northern team's base here, because he's moving through with a lot of flashes, and red is of course busy fighting Race's endless production. So, ooh, purple getting some damage done here. This is a nicely timed attack. Diehat bringing the fighters to try and quell this. The metal extractor will go up in flames, but the push continues. And can the northern team respond quickly enough before they lose their base? Diehat with his Zeus push, which has mostly been cleaned up, but there are 6 or 7 still alive. How much can they get done? I don't like that Purple's being a little indecisive about what he wants to do with this attack. I would like him to just send it up and maybe try to get some production there. Of course, there can be commanders that will degun that, just like they did to Race. But either way, red and pink doing a push through the top here. And with these Zeuses and some of the T1 units pink has, can they get anything done? It doesn't look like there's an overwhelming amount of defense up here, but it might be somewhat effective. Race doing Race things, continuing to not only pump out hordes and hordes of units, but also have the best eco in the game. So guys, that is what makes a really great player. Not only being able to pump out endless waves of units, but also keep the best eco score in the game, keep your economy going, keep your production high. It may sound easy, but it's not. I've been playing this game since it came out in 1997, and I still can't do what Race does. I don't know how he does it. It's harder than you might think. Light blue with some freakers, a little raid. Diehat has upgraded his advanced K-Bot lab, so he will now have the Zeuses with shields attached. And Race continuing to simply pile on the pressure, all these stumpies moving into the base of the northern team, causing a lot of headaches. The northern team has a lot of trouble on their hands, and of course the western team, they have cleaned up this attack that was happening at the north of their base. It doesn't seem like it got much accomplished, and I didn't think it was going to, but yeah. So far this has been a very back and forth game, and I do think the southern team is winning. I mean, just in terms of position, look, Race has taken this territory I was mentioning earlier. This map has a lot of metal in the middle, and so if you can hold the middle and secure it, which is what Race is doing, it becomes very difficult to break, especially because your opponent will then have a big economic advantage. which Race does have a big economic advantage. And man, I just love Race's playstyle. It's so iterative. It's just he's so good at scaling his economy, scaling his production to his economy. So as you can see, he's building another advanced vehicle plant there. He's got an upgraded K-Bot lab there, but also throwing up lots of defenses. So 132 metal per second for Race, pretty far ahead of everyone else. But we can't count out Diehat. Like I said, he is the Titan on the Eastern team, and even though he doesn't have quite as much production as Race, I think he will probably be teching up to T3. I would assume before anyone else, just based on the way he's played this game. And of course, Diehat, very strong late game macro player. So let's see how this combat engagement goes in the middle. Lots and lots of Panthers. Not only Panthers, but also Zeus's and Rocco's. So, huge armies clashing here in the middle, but I honestly think the Western team has the advantage just in terms of composition. But I do like all these shielded Zeuses. The upgraded Zeuses, very, very strong. They have a lot of extra health. And so it's a super close engagement, but I think Race, having built all these defenses, it is going to create a nice choke point for the Eastern team to throw their units into. And yeah, these Sentinels very well placed, doing a lot of great work here. 6 kills on that one alone. So yeah, I like what Race is doing. Not only is he taking the mid, but he's securing it pretty well. It will be difficult to break through here. Not impossible, of course. Especially once the game hits the T3 phase, and I assume it will be hitting the T3 phase. And, of course, Merles and Diplomats are always a possibility. Those T2 long-range rocket platforms that are great against stationary defenses. And artillery as well. We might see Lugers and Pillagers and things of that nature that are great against defenses as well. So even though Race has secured the middle and has done a great job of it, and he's created a bit of a Maginot Line here, a bit of a fortress, Great Wall of China. Use your alliteration or choose your alliteration. But this is going to be difficult to break because not only does Race have all these defenses, but he's got plenty of units to back up the defenses. So, yeah, this is tough. There's quite a few Zeuses, but you know, how much can they get done here? These Sentinels are surrounded by Dragon's Teeth, which make them way harder to kill than they would normally be. I want to check out the player bases after this fight. It's sort you know, this is a bit of a suicide mission by Diehat, but it's sort of a question of how much can he get accomplished before he dies. None of these Sentinels even taking damage, and I think this is a bit of a doomed attack. Diehat frustrated, calling for Dragon's Teeth abusers in the chat. Yes, you know, Race is abusing the fact that he can build walls around his defenses. He's abusing the fact that he's using these walls as they were intended to be used to protect himself. And, you know, the reality is there's plenty of ways to kill these Dragon's Teeth. But you've got to build a more diversified composition. So, guys, Escalation, if you ever played OTA, the original game, like, it did encourage you to just kind of build one unit and spam a certain type of unit. But Escalation really encourages you as a player to diversify your army composition and to have many different types of units that have different roles and strengths. Because one of the weaknesses of the Zeuses is, like, they do a lot of damage, but they are weak to Dragon's Teeth, as in, like, their electricity It'd be like, what happens if you shoot electricity at a rock or a mountain or whatever? Like, it does nothing. That's basically what's happening. The Zeus is shooting its lightning at these solid walls of steel or, you know, whatever they're made out of. Like, you know, cement. And it's doing nothing. But if you have, like look at Race's composition. He's got Rockos. Those are great. I think if you have enough Rockos, you know, you can take down Dragon's Teeth really quick. He's also got Stumpies mixed in with his army, and those, their attacks, the Stumpy attacks will actually arc over the Dragon's Teeth, and just to ignore them completely, in many cases. So, like, this is on Die Hat, you know, he's just building Zeuses, that's it. Like, if you only build one kind of unit, you know, your opponent can counter you, and should counter you, and that's exactly what Race has done. Because you can't just spam Zeuses and expect to win the game, and Race's composition is much better, because it has a nice combination of units. Now, Die Hat is also telling his teammates stop building Panthers. They're useless. Panthers are not useless, but again, the Panther has strengths and weaknesses, and the Panther is really not designed for these, like, confrontations. I casted a game before with EXE not that long ago where he beat Harold by building Panthers and ignoring Harold's army and getting behind his army and killing his base. So Panthers are a great raiding unit. They're great against T1, but they're not good in this situation. Like, really, I would say this is the Bulldog phase of the game, where Bulldogs just reign supreme. They're just a great combination of firepower and damage and health and you know, speed, and you know, Bulldog just a very well-rounded tank. And it just amazes me that nobody is building Bulldogs, because we got 5 armed players and not a single Bulldog in this entire game, and I just feel like this is the phase of the game where Bulldogs could just take over. I mean, they're so good, especially against clumped up units, and all these units are so packed together. So yeah, I'd love to see some Bulldogs being pumped out by either team at this phase. And yeah, but I do agree with Die Hat. Panthers are not the choice in this situation, unless you're trying to just avoid the combat and get into the back line, which neither team has really done. Let's go ahead and check out the player bases before we ramble on a little more about that. In pink, it looks like Son of Gondor has just finished an advanced aircraft plant, so he may be the first player to get onto T2 Air, and we'll have to see what he wants to do with it. That's a pretty important phase of the game. If you're going into T2 Air, you've got to do something with it. I mean, you really have to. Red is still on T1, but yeah, once you get to T2 Air, you need to either build bombers or gunships or something to really justify the investment, because it's extremely expensive, but it can be game-ending in the right hands. Right now, it looks like he's just building construction aircraft, so other than that, nothing too noteworthy going on the North team. I did expect Red to be one of the first players moving to T3, if not the first. But right now, looks like he is still on T2. He's building lots and lots of Zeuses. But again, guys, the Southern team does have the advantage, and the reason why is they're holding the middle. The middle has all this extra metal. Race is already upgrading that metal to T2. So holding the middle is going to be so important on this map. Race also building Protector. I was going to say I'd like to see one or both teams start building tactical nukes, because the tactical nukes have a decent range, and building the tactical nukes in the middle or near the middle means you can start nuking your opponent's base, you can start nuking your opponent's army or defenses or what have you. So, but yeah, right now the Western team definitely in the driver's seat. Certainly, I think, in a better position now that they have all this extra eco. Lots of battles still breaking out in the middle. I do agree with Die Hat that if Green were to turn these Panthers into Bulldogs, that could be a much better engagement, much more interesting combat than what we're watching here, where the Panthers are. I won't say they're useless, but this is just not what they're designed for. You know, units in Escalation are all kind of designed for a purpose, and the purpose of the Panther is not direct combat. with hordes of enemy units. That is the purpose of a bulldog, though, and I'm glad that Race finally building them in mass. You know, we've seen games where a player reaches a critical mass of bulldogs, and that is all it really takes sometimes to just crush your opponent's armies. These things, especially with the third barrel, the bulldogs become so oppressive. They are so oppressive that, yeah, they might need to be nerfed, removed from the game. Just the amount of sheer firepower. I mean, oh man, bulldogs are so strong. Like, you can already see it here. Once these bulldogs begin contributing to the fight, Red's army will just begin to evaporate. It may be difficult to see with just the amount of explosions on the screen, but yeah, these bulldogs are so effective, especially against these extremely clumped groups of units. Oh my goodness. Red's army simply evaporating. And Green has finally started building bulldogs of his own, to his credit, but man, what a close game. I mean, just in terms of these combats, great contribution by both teams. Every player is helping to some degree. I like that Die Hat is including shooters in here. The shooter is like a T2 ARM sniper K-bot. You can't see their bullets, but they're very effective against units that have a lot of health, like the Bulldog. So good use of those by Die Hat. Die Hat also, I think, has the biggest army of fighters controlling the skies there. Let's go ahead and check out Race's base. He has also finished Advanced Air, and he's working on Phoenixes. So I think Race will probably have the first true bombing campaign of the game with these Phoenixes. If he gets enough of them, this could be game-ending. Of course, Race has great air micro, and so if or great bombing micro. So if he can get a large enough army of those, I don't think the enemy team really has as much air defense as they would need. There's almost none up here. Oh my gosh, this is like a barren wasteland of air defense. So if Race attacks down here, there's some flax, so this is the worst place to attack. But if Race attacks here in the north, I guess there's some flax there too. But like, there's definitely areas of the map that are pretty scantily defended. So this is a good that's a good place to strike. All of Green's base is pretty much prime real estate for a bombing campaign. So yeah, guys, part of doing an efficient bombing run is not only microing your units well, but it's having the scouting information to know where to attack. So there are places on the map that are heavily defended. Like right here, there's 3 flackers or 4 flackers. But right here, there's almost nothing. I mean, just some defenders, but that doesn't matter much. Defenders aren't really going to stop Phoenixes on their own. And of course, Green has built almost nothing. Die Hat, he's got some defenses here, but if Race can find the avenue of approach, if he can find that the weak spots, that would be maybe a game-ending proposition for these bombers to get in there and inflict serious casualties on the enemy team and especially their production. Ooh, I think that might have been a tactical nuke there. I was mentioning a tactical nuke earlier. Or no, maybe those are mines. Holy cow, hang on. I think those were mines, guys. Oh, man. We don't see these very often, but whose mines are they? Were they purples? Yeah. Guys, we've got heavy mines on the ground. Purple has built a minefield here, and this is beautiful. We just don't see mines very much in a game, but like, you saw the explosion radius of those things. So as the enemy team walks through these mines all over the place, I mean, that will make it difficult to no, that's Race that built. These are Race's mines, so Guys, forgive me. I wasn't even watching Race build an entire minefield up here. Man, that is so impressive. I can't believe it. Just took out that entire army in one fell swoop. Those mines did. But in terms of purple and light blue, I think they are playing more of a supportive role here. Light blue has started an ultra aircraft hangar, but I assume that's going to take several lifetimes to complete. Now, light blue does have a rapier, a squadron that he is slowly building up, and maybe if he can attack in conjunction with Race's bombing run, it could maybe win the game, or at least inflict massive damage on the enemy team. So let's keep an eye on that. Right now, huge brawls in the middle as we have reached the Penetrator phase of the game, and I would say Race is very adept at penetrating the Eastern team's orifices with these powerful tachyon lasers that are absolutely eviscerating anything and everything that they come into contact with. Guys, the double barrel penetrator, it is an escalation special, and yeah, it's I don't think it's not too much of an exaggeration to say that the Eastern team is in trouble. All these penetrators doing the Lord's work. Each shot killing bulldogs, taking off about half of their health. Diehat's still on the Zeus game plan, despite the fact that this really has not worked that much or that well throughout this game. All these Zeuses, nothing but cannon fodder, and man, the penetrators really, I think, proving their worth, making their effectiveness known, and living up to their namesake. Just absolutely inflicting terrible damage on the Eastern team and causing a nightmarish sort of dystopian reality, which I think the Eastern team is unfortunately now living in. The Race has taken the middle almost completely by himself and is still upgrading his eco. And all the Zeus pushes in the world seem to be achieving very little for Diehat. Race, his composition is just amazing here. He's got Fidos, he's got shooters, he's got bulldogs and penetrators down here. And of course, he's still building up that hurricane attack. He has been for about 10-20 minutes now. Man, look at all of the bombers. Now, in fairness, Diehat does have a nice roving army of fighters here, and those will be effective, I think, against this bombing run. But look, if Race and Conflict Crusher can coordinate their aerial assault here, I mean, anything is possible. Even with all these fighters, I think it would be difficult to stop. Diehat building more flax on the western side, so they are now investing more into air defense. It seems like they know that this could be coming, or is coming. But we'll have to see. It all depends on like how the Western team controls it. Speaking of that, it looks like Race is finally ready. Man, I would love to see Light Blue participate here. Race going to try to go in by himself, but there is a lot of fighters that he's going to be flying directly into. Oh, here comes the fighters. Here comes the air war. All of these bombers, where are they going? They're headed straight for the eco here. But unfortunately, that was definitely not the best avenue of approach. Race clearly frustrated. That was a huge investment, and seems like the Eastern team was ready for it. Lots of fighters and air defense in that area. Like I said, that you certainly would have to find the correct avenue approach. Earlier in the game, it was definitely here, but now that The northern team has kind of fortified that with lots of flak. Maybe that would be difficult too. But yeah, I do like that Pink building a Big Bertha here. This is a good place for it. It's close to it's very close to the edge of the lava there, so it will get max range into the Western team's base. Big Bertha's, of course, extremely effective in certain situations. The long-range plasma cannon game plan, that's a mouthful. But yeah, that Bertha, especially if you can get multiple Berthas. Usually one Bertha alone isn't typically game-ending, but if you can get enough of them, or get a buzzsaw going, that is most certainly game-ending and can be game-ending, and we've seen it in the past, and I love casting long-range plasma cannon games. And I think Escalation does a really good job of balancing them so that they're fairly accurate early on. Like, I'd say they're even better than they were in OTA. And maybe even Pro TA in Escalation, but they're not perfectly accurate, but they're accurate enough that, like, within 1 or 2 shots, they're usually going to hit their target. And then the game has a veterancy system, so as long-range plasma cannons get more kills, they become even more accurate. But now, Daihat attempting an attack through the north, but I think Ray still has all these mines here that he may run into as he attempts his advance through that treacherous wasteland. Oh my goodness, the mine spam. Daihat clearly not a fan of this strategy. Oh my gosh, I love it. You love to see it. You love to see all the mines exploding one after another. And Helldivers style gameplay. Man, that minefield just took out most of that Fido army single-handedly, and now the rapiers will make it into the fray, but unfortunately, I think it may be a little too late for those rapiers to... I mean, he can use them defensively, and that will be good, but I think it might be too late for an attack with those, but it doesn't matter because the Western team is now pushing through with an impressive army of Bulldogs and Penetrators and lots of flashes by Purple. Can this be enough to win the game? Oh no, dude, that was a nice tactical nuke. So guys, that tactical nuke, I think, shot a missile right here and took out most of that army in one fell swoop. That was... Guys, that was like a game-changing tactical nuke. That army was about to wipe them out and take out all of this southern base. But I think that tactical nuke... 37 kills on that. Holy freaking cow. That thing may have just kept the Eastern team in the game by itself. I'm sure it will die for the pleasure. But unfortunately, I think that may give the Eastern team just enough gusto to hold on with these reinforcing Penetrators and Bulldogs. That tactical nuke was really MVP there. What an effective push. And now, that Big Bertha is finished targeting the metal extractors. So, yeah, like I said, this is a great placement of that Bertha. I really like it. It's close enough to the Western team's base that it's going to be able to hit most of that, at least here in the northern part of the base. And just each shot is so effective. These shells, huge. So, yeah, he needs to pick his targets. Daihat getting frustrated, probably both with his teammates and with the minefield that Race has so graciously made. But yeah, Daihat frustrated, feeling like his teammates haven't helped him too much. Of course, in fairness, Daihat has taken most of the eco on the Eastern team's side. But even with that, I mean, Race way ahead of everyone else economically here. Already on T3, now pumping out the first Cerberus of the game, I think. And Race asking what Gondor is doing. What is Gondor doing indeed? It seemed like Gondor went into air. He went into T2 air, but hasn't done much of anything with it. He's just upgrading his eco now. Oh yeah, he did build this big Bertha. But guys, like I said, you need more than one Bertha. Like, for this to really, truly work, having a firing squad of Berthas is a much more interesting proposition to cause your opponents to cry. Yeah, one Bertha is just really not... It's not going to cut the mustard. And this thing... And another problem, too, is like a lot of people will build Berthas and then they don't choose their targets. So, guys, like these artillery cannons work most effectively if you can choose what your targets are. Like, find targets of opportunity. You've got to build scouts. You've got to build... you know, some kind of recon to get into your opponent's base and see what you're shooting at. But yeah, another tactical nuke goes off there. But yeah, I can see how Red would be frustrated. His teammates are definitely not playing the most efficient game they could. See how many kills. This Bertha has 10 kills, even though it's just kind of been shooting randomly. Just imagine if he had that thing targeted at these vehicle plants or... these moho extractors, or I mean, really anything, any target. He might even be able to hit some of this stuff back here. Even it's hard to say, but yeah, Die Hat definitely in a frustrating situation. He is against Race's endless supply of might. Bulldogs and Penetrators and a Cerberus. Oh my. Where is that guy? Where did he, here he is. The Cerberus now out on the field. And what is the deal with this Cerberus? Is this like an upgraded Cerberus? It's got something on his head. I wish I could zoom in there. Another tactical nuke will launch. Ooh, and hitting a lot of Race's army there, but Race has army for days, and look at all the Bulldogs. That is potentially a critical mass of Bulldogs. Where did that Cerberus go? I feel like this is maybe the upgraded Cerberus. I wish it was called the Cerberus MK3. Once you once you upgraded it, it kind of makes sense. I don't know what it is. It's got something on its got a little hat there on the top of its chassis, and I have no idea what it does. But I'll be excited to see once it makes its way to the front, slowly crawling, slowly walking. Is that a Defender? Is that a Defender on its head? It sort of looks like a Defender. With some kind of missile turret. Atop its head, it's like Santa's hat. It is! Interesting, so the Cerberus sort of has like some built-in air defense when you upgrade it. I like that. Makes the Cerberus even more of a jack-of-all-trades kind of assault mech than it already was. The Cerberus, of course, the ARM T3, sort of a close to mid-range assault mech. It has to be pretty close to its opponents to get full value because it has these Gauss cannons that don't really fire until it's right on top of its targets. But man, it is a harbinger of absolute death once it gets in range of the enemy. Especially if the enemy isn't prepared for it, and it doesn't look like the northern team really is prepared for it. It's just so strong. It's firing waves and waves of massive AoE shells. So hard to kill, especially at the early T3 phase. It kind of frustrates me that Race threw away most of his army before the Cerberus even made it to the front, because imagine if the Cerberus was leading the charge and had 50 Bulldogs supporting it, the game might already be over. But I do like that Daihat bringing in the air defense. Unfortunately, the Cerberus doesn't have much support now. He is sort of carrying the world on his shoulders, but still 39 kills already. Very difficult to take out, obviously. It's only half health even after all of that punishment. And going for Pink's Berthas, which have already been kind of ineffective, but now they'll probably be dead. Cerberus now getting low. He will take out one Bertha. Can he get the other one before he goes down? It's getting he's getting pretty low. But man, the Cerberus, 62 kills on his own. And finally, Race bringing his Hawks into the fray, trying to provide some close air support, but the Cerberus will die. So, again, I feel like if Race had just kept his Bulldogs with the Cerberus, or even waited until he had 2 or 3 of those. But, oh man. Purple now building tossers, and guys, a tosser is like an early T1 artillery unit. You don't see them in the, like, near the hour mark of the game very often. This is, to call this an unorthodox or interesting strategy would be the understatement of the cast, most likely. I don't know exactly what Purple's doing here. Well, he is creating an interesting fireworks show. I will give him that. But aside from all the spectacle, I'm not sure how much actual value these things have. Aside perhaps cannon fodder. But the Cerberus, the second Cerberus, is very effective. Even if all these tossers are not really contributing much to the game. Race, perhaps with his second bombing run, could he do more than the first time? Race is maxed out on resource. He can't use his 500 metal, which isn't that surprising. 500 metal is a lot to use. But I think Race has the right idea. He's trying to support the Cerberus with his bombers. And you can see these scarabs positioned around the map with their anti-nukes trying to stop any kind of tactical missile play. But the Cerberus doesn't care about that. He will take that out nearly immediately. Right now, Race just content to pump out more and more Cerberus. I think that's a fair enough strategy. I mean, I think it's good. It can be good. It could be good. But not if he keeps throwing them in one at a time without support. So guys, even the Cerberus, as effective as it is, it needs support. Like having an army of Bulldogs and Penetrators with it could help a lot. Or just having multiple Cerberus all work together in tandem. But Light Blue, who's been building this gunship attack up for literally 30 minutes... finally ready to reveal it to the world, but he will run straight into layers and layers of flak, and with that, I don't know how effective this is really going to be. He takes out one... what was this? I think that was just a regular aircraft plant, not even advanced. And, yeah, too much flak there. That really falls short and does almost nothing, so... Look, despite the fact that the Eastern team has been on the back foot this entire game, they still find a way to hold on. The issue is, how are they going to win? And as if the gods have heard me, an answer comes screaming onto the field in the shape of an Aurora, a T3 nuclear bomber. So my friends, if you have never seen one of my casts with an Aurora in it, if you've never seen one of these monsters in action, prepare yourself for a treat, because these are my favorite unit in all of Escalation. The Aurora, the T3 strategic bomber, this god of destruction, this titan of death, this absolute menace to society. Oh my goodness. Does the Southern team know? Do they know this is coming? One Aurora. It drops lines and lines of bombs. Oh, he's off mapping with it. This is a bit sus. Red has gone off the map with the Aurora. In Escalation, this is a little bit prohibited because, as you can see, can't bomb quite yet. But, oh, it has found a commander. It has found a commander. Oh, my God. Okay. One bombing run down. He's dropping even more payloads. Oh, no, dude. And now purple is out of the game. Red has done it. Red has done it. He has made this into a 2v3. He's given the Eastern team a fighting chance. Race doesn't even know what happened. He wasn't even watching. Diehat's like, I don't know. I guess he just left. Fuck, you know. Purple was tired of just being a supporting cast to you, Race. He's tired of you taking all the glory and just hoarding it like a dragon. You know, all of it in your cave, all the gold, you know. All of the social media credits. The karma on Reddit. And he decided, no more. No more, Race. I'm tired of you taking all of my glory. I'm going to go somewhere where I'm actually needed and appreciated. So Red has no idea what happened to Purple. He's none the wiser. And unbelievable. Unbelievable. That was such an amazing Aurora play. How can you not get excited about that? Purple's commander is gone, and Purple is gone. And, you know, good riddance to him anyway. Because he was simply the grime that was marring Race's glory. You know, he was an eyesore to Race's ascension to godlyhood as Race continuing to pile on the pressure. Oh my goodness. Purple had no idea what happened to him. He was not ready for that. What a beautiful play, taking that bomber and finding his commander and going straight to town on that. And so now it's a 2v3, and with it being a 2v3, oh my God, did that Aurora survive? What's the deal here? This may be the same Aurora that took out Purple's commander, and maybe it survived. I don't know. I didn't see what this Aurora did, but either way, I think he's got a second Aurora. Yeah, that just completed. I think that's got to be the same one, but I don't know for sure, guys. But either way, amazing, amazing play by Red. Just threading the needle with that Aurora and showing everyone why it is my favorite unit in the whole game. I love those things. But you know, the Cerberus is definitely up there on the list too. I love the Cerberus. It's just a great design. It is like a close range tanky titan. Please leave our game, Purple. You have shamed yourself. You be gone. Be gone, Tot. Red has sent you into the oblivions. This first Aurora being repaired. I think that Aurora survived, to be honest. That was just so effective. So now two Auroras potentially could be making their way into the Western team's base. And like, I have to be honest, the Western team has not done as good of a job defending themselves from these aerial attacks. Race has gone into ultra aircraft here, but like, let's just compare the two bases. So look at all these flags. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. I mean, it just goes on, right? Like 23, 25. I mean, whatever, right? There's a million flags there. How many flags does Race have? None. He does have a few slingshots, but you can see the investment that this whole area is just being defended by Hawks, and that's about it. So you can see the investment that the Northern team made on air defense was massively higher, and because of that, it's it's allowing red to do this. Die-Hat with the Aurora gameplay. Oh my goodness, he's going for round 2, my friends. Not content to just take out purple. He is ready to wreck more dreams. Oh no, dude. Here comes the double Aurora bombing run extravaganza. Holy cow! He's found Light Blue's commander. And these Auroras are still pretty healthy. Light Blue isn't even paying attention. Oh my god, dude. Okay, one Aurora went to the south, but the other one is still on the screen, gunning straight for Conflict Crusher. Oh no, dude. Oh no, and now it becomes a 1v3. Holy freaking cow! The heavy fusion is gone. Race now, he's got to be panicking. He's got to be panicking. He's lost 2 teammates. Oh my goodness. Conflict Crusher has left the game. He was only marring Race's glory anyway. Nobody wanted him in this game. This is now a 1v3. This is Race's opportunity to show the world that he does not need teammates, my friends. Race does not need teammates. This man, he will do it. He will do it by himself. He will 1v3 the entire enemy team. Holy freaking cow. Conflict Crusher, he's mad. He just left the game. He not even taking the time to spectate. He's like, forget this. I'm tired of standing behind the limelight. Race is so selfishly hogged this whole game, but now Race getting a bit swarmed here, getting a bit overwhelmed. Just the sheer mass of firepower streaming into his base. Can Race 1v3? Can he do it? Look, if anyone can do it, Race can do it. I believe in this man. I'm just going to say that Race's teammates left because they weren't good enough. They were not providing the support that he needed, and truly, they'd be better off as just fodder. Their bases left for Race to claim. 1v3 is this man. The Tempests now making it to the front lines of the battle, swarming the enemy positions with missiles, endless arrays of missiles. The T3 arm heavy gunship absolutely crushing the battlefield with sheer firepower. Man, look at all of the damage and the carnage, and this game still continues despite the fact that Die-Hat striking 2 crippling blows, taking out Race's teammates, sending them to the Void Realm, sending them to another universe from whence they shall never return, my friends. The Cerberus MK2 low. But man, this game continues to deliver. How is it still going? How is Race doing this? 1v3. Holy freaking cow. And even after losing that fusion, the heavy fusion, still continuing to stay in this game, to keep the hope and dream alive. Lots of Bulldogs moving through, but I don't know if it matters, man. There's 2 tactical nukes here. We've got an Annihilator, we've got Berthas, we've got shooters. Is this too much defense? I think it may be. With the tactical nukes especially, I'm afraid these Bulldogs are never going to make it to the heart of Red's southern base here. Man, I just sort of wish that if there was a couple T3 units here. The tactical nukes now flying in. So much air defense here. Look at all of the bulwarks, the vertigos. Oh man, even 3 Tempests struggling to absorb all of this fire. 1 goes down, 2 go down, and the third one, I think it will be close behind. So Race now losing his air superiority, losing most of his army, losing his 2 teammates, and possibly losing his freaking mind. And who could blame him? Who could blame him? But hold on. Race is not through yet. He has yet to reveal his ultimate strategy, as the ground attack with the Cerberus and the Bulldogs, the air attack with the Hurricanes and the Tempests. All of that was simply a distraction, my friends, from Race's real strategy, which was long-range plasma cannon annihilation. That was the true plan all along. Trust me, I know. I actually have talked to Race, and he told me that this entire time, everything else was merely a ploy. Oh, speaking of a ploy, Die-Hat finding that western approach. He's already killed 2 players with Auroras. Oh my goodness! Make it stop! It hurts! It hurts me to watch. I feel the pain in my chest, the cringe in my body. Die-Hat, stop this madness. You monster! Oh, he messes up his bombing a little bit, and he can't quite target Race's commander, but the campaign of terror continues. This man should be hired by Jihad. The man committing acts of atrocity and war crimes banned in all countries. The man, Die-Hat. Now you see why the Aurora is my favorite unit in the game. Like, just the level of destruction and carnage and death that you can inflict upon your opponent with this flying, you know, I don't know, the embodiment of death, the avatar of destruction. Ugh. Holy cow, those Auroras absolutely taking over the game. And in fairness, the Southern team has not built enough air defense, even close to enough. You know, even one T3 tower, the Whiplash, even one heavy anti-air missile tower would just help so much. He is finally building a single Whiplash, and my god. Okay, he's got more here, but he's just thrown these up. Like, I don't even think those were alive during that last Aurora attack, because the Whiplash is... They're expensive. I mean, that's part of it. The Whiplash is expensive. See how much it costs here. 10,000 metal. 10,000 metal. A heavy fusion is only 20,000. So that's like half of a heavy fusion worth of metal just to build one of those. So it makes sense. It does make sense, like, why Race hesitant to throw those up. I mean, it's a huge investment to get these Whiplashes on the screen, but man, they do clear the sky. Even Auroras crumble under their might. And Race needs it, though. Race really, if he's going to have any hope of winning a 3v1, my god, he's going to need the air defense. He's going to need a small miracle, even with all of these Berthas, and of course the Nova as well. Shelling the opponent, absolute impunity, merciless fire. Oh man, now targeting the mega extractors. And does the Northern team have any kind of reproach? Can they actually respond to this? They do have an Aegis, the experimental shield generator, but guys, oh no, look at all of the fire. Holy cow, Race keeping the hope alive by simply shelling his opponents back into the Stone Age where they belong. And man, look at the sheer amount of firepower. All of these cannons simultaneously shelling the opponent. This has become a World War I style artillery trench warfare situation. As Race staying in the game, there is one Bertha of pinks, but it's not hitting anything too effective at this point. But can Race win simply with artillery? I don't know. I mean, 2 Novas on the field. Of course, at least 3 Berthas over here, a 4th one being constructed. Can he do it this way? Can he win like this? I mean, it would just be so illegal. It would just be so illegal if Race could win like this after losing his 2 teammates. Oh my goodness, after they just get scrubbed out of the game by Diehat's beautiful Aurora play. But, I mean, if anyone can do it, Race can do it. The enemy team, okay. Diehat is still on the air game plan. He is now pumping out his own Tempests. And I think he's going to try to get a critical mass of these Tempests, like enough that he thinks he can snipe Race's commander. But look, Race is actually taking this seriously now. It took him a while, I admit. It did take Race a little while to take the aerial threat seriously, but he is now taking it seriously. The Aegis under constant fire, and now it's at a sliver of health. I think these Novas are going to finish that off. They will. The Aegis is down. Battles of long-range plasma warfare. Pink attempting to build his own Berthas, but those are hitting the walls. The Novas truly dominating that fight there. And I'm afraid these Berthas aren't quite in range of what they need to hit. But I think the Eastern team, they are gearing up for a last desperate attack. They want to try and kill Race. If all 3 of them can combine their forces, and by that I mean Red with his army of Tempests, wherever they went. Green with his Bulldogs and Penetrators, and I thought he said Recons, yeah, this group of Recons. And Pink with, I don't know what, I guess his Berthas, the couple Berthas that he's made, but otherwise I don't know how he's going to contribute. He will scout some of this. They will mark the Novas, so as you can see, the Novas are high priority for the Eastern team. 18 kills on that one and 20 on that one. And it's not going to get any easier as time goes on. These Novas are just going to be nothing more than a thorn on the Eastern team's side. And it looks like Diehat, he's ready to give up. He's feeling the pressure. Race is simply got them in a chokehold. He's got them in a chokehold of artillery goodness. And I think Red may leave. Red? Too frustrated. Oh, guys, I may have actually missed his attack. I apologize because the red blends in with the lava down here. So I think Diehat may have attempted an attack with those Tempests, and like I said, Race has enough air defense now that that wasn't going to get very much accomplished. I apologize if I missed that. I didn't even see it happen because I was focusing more on the Bertha War. But now, Race pushing through, and Red has spent most of his resources on that failed Tempest attack that died so quickly I didn't even see it. And there was like 4 or 5 Tempests there, so... Man, yeah, Race really, like I said, committing to the anti-air after losing 2 teammates and a lot of his eco to Aurora bombing plans. The northern team now frustrated. 2 tactical nukes will take to the sky. Oh my goodness, it does effectively stop a large part of the army, but Race is still coming. The Novas shelling the enemy team. with near impunity now. And Vertigo's as well for air support. More tactical nukes flying in, taking out more of Blue's army. Man, these tactical nukes have really been the only thing that have stopped Race from killing the southern base many, many times. But the game isn't over yet because Green and Pink still have their army. And I thought Diehat... Man, did Diehat attack? I feel like I would have seen it if Diehat attacked with his air, but... maybe it just died that quickly. I just never saw it. I never saw the Tempest get eviscerated. But look at the amount of air defense that Race has now. Nothing could survive that for very long. And this attack is doomed. The Warden, the armed T3 EMP defense, paralyzing all the Bulldogs that walk into range. The Novas can kite back. But hold that thought. This isn't over. There's a lot of penetrators. But man, this Warden, very effective. Stunning everything it gets in contact with. Can even shoot through walls. So even trying to use obstacles and corpses will not protect against the EMP effect of the Warden. This is a great job by Race. This is a great use of the Warden. We rarely see it, but in this situation, very good. But the recons have made it through. And can the recons get anything effective done here? Race bringing his Tempests. The Western team, and by that I mean Race, because he's the only person left, holding on strong, keeping the dream alive. A Raptor now out on the field. This T3.5 menace. Can it stop this attack? Most of the recons are already dead. And with that, this attack, I think, has mostly failed. I'm not sure what else the Eastern team can do. Race, even after losing 2 teammates, managing to hold on, managing against all odds. Clinging to victory. Snatching victory from the jaws of defeat is Race. And now, with this Raptor push, supported by Tempest and Vertigo, and Novas as well, continuing to shell out those long-range plasma cannon shots. I think this game could be coming to an end. But yeah, Race continuing to send more and more Bulldogs. But yeah, the Eastern team, it feels like their spirits have been broken here. Even though there's 3 of them, it almost feels like they already have given up. Diehat has made a nuke though. So Diehat, he's gone into a desperate last-ditch T3 nuke strategy. He's going to start building the strategic nukes. And I don't know if he's hoping that Race didn't build any. I mean, the problem is Race does have anti-nukes. He's got 2 there. Where else does he have anti-nukes? So he's got 2 there at the very least. I don't see any in this area. No, there's none here either. So, oh man, maybe a couple nukes right here could win the game. The problem is Race does have anti-nukes, but they're all the way down here, and that doesn't really help his commander. Oh man, this might actually work because he does have anti-nukes, but it's at different parts of his base than where his commander is. I don't see any in this area. a few nukes could maybe kill Race. And then, man, that would be such a sad way for this game to end. But it seems like Die-Hat has found his commander and maybe is aware of the fact that I don't see any anti-nukes on the screen. Race finally building one closer, but I don't know if Race knows what's coming. I don't know if Race is aware that Die-Hat has a diabolical plan. 3 nukes. If he shot all of these off, of course it will take them a while to build. It takes quite a bit of time. But I feel like this might be the Eastern team's last hope, because there's not enough anti-nukes, certainly, in this area to stop this. He's building one now, but he's really not investing much into it. Just the one constructor that will take ages to finish. And Red has done... So, guys, Red has done such an amazing job this game of scouting. I will say that, like, Red has, if nothing else, I mean, obviously his Aurora play has been stellar, but his scouting has been so good. Like, he's always found the targets he wanted. He found both purple and light blue's commanders, like, right away. And then he found Race's, you know, so many of Race's fusions, and he also took out his experimental lab at some point. And then finds his commander right away. So guys, one thing I want to say is, if you are at this stage of the game, like especially past the hour mark, you shouldn't use your commander anymore. Like, you should just cloak your commander and hide him, because like, the commander is too vulnerable of a unit to let your opponent see or like know where they are. Or at the very least, maybe build some decoy commanders just so that the enemy doesn't really know exactly where the real one is. But either way, like, your commander should not be showing anymore. He should be cloaked and hidden, so that there's no way they can do this. Because, like, if Race had just hidden his... And he doesn't need his commander anymore. He's got plenty of build power. Like, this isn't necessary. If Race had just hidden his commander and cloaked him somewhere, like, the Eastern team would have almost no way to win. Like, he's giving them the opportunity to win by showing his commander. Now, of course, in fairness, Race thinks his commander is safe because he's got enough air defense to, you know, survive Doomsday. And he's got an entire army of defenses and Berthas and units between him and the enemy team. So, like, nobody can really blame him for thinking that he's safe here. The problem is that he's not safe because, of course, these strategic nukes currently being constructed. Of course, we as the viewer cannot see how far they are along, but Red did say he had one completed, so one nuke won't kill the commander. I think that's probably why he's going to try to get 2 or 3 nukes. Race has just finished this protector, but it's only one, and there's 3 nuke silos, so even if he can get a nuke in the or an anti-nuke in the chamber, it probably won't be enough to stop all 3 of these from killing Race's commander. Man, this is such a tense moment because, again, Race has just played out of his mind this game, and he absolutely deserves to win, and there's almost... feels like nothing the enemy team can do but accept this little last-ditch effort with nukes, and even that may not work. Purple and blue still proving... or, excuse me, pink and green still proving to be annoying with all the Merles and units. But I think Race has enough to stop this in its tracks. He's still got the Raptor. But I do like that the Eastern team hasn't quite given up. They're still fighting it out. They've still got lots of Penetrators and Bulldogs. Vertigos in the sky from Die-Hat. They're doing what they can to try and stay in the game. And good teamwork as well. All 3 of them working together. All 3 of them are participating still. No one has given up yet. Forcing that Raptor back. There's now a second Raptor. Yeah. So I think they're really just trying to buy time now. But Race is also building an Empyrean. I don't think Race has enough anti-nukes, though. Oh, man. This is going to be so close. Red sending more and more scouts. I think he's probably hoping that Race's commander is still there. The Empyrean now entering into the battlefield. The Nova's continuing to rain down hell from half the map away. And good Lord Almighty, we are still waiting for these nukes to finish and see what becomes of that situation. Race's commander still vulnerable. At the very least, he should be keeping his commander near all these anti-nukes that he's already built. But I don't think he expects this. This is a very last-ditch effort. Okay, the first nuke, the second nuke, and where's the third nuke? Okay, here we go. 3 nukes all being fired nearly simultaneously. And we know where these are going. These are going straight for Race's commander. Oh, man. This could be it. This could be it. This could be the single deciding factor of the game. The last-ditch effort. The Hail Mary. The desperate attempt. Race, I think, knows he wasn't quite ready for this. Oh, no, dude. And that will take out most of his units, but his commander is still alive, I think. Race's commander still lives. It's on red health. But it still survives. Oh my goodness. And I think only the one nuke got through. Race's commander, still in the game. It's at like critical health. But this game is not over. Race pushing through now with his 3 Raptors. Ultimately, the 3 nuke strategy didn't work. It took out a ton of production and eco, but Race making 1,200 metal per second. The northern team panicking as Race striking back with a vengeance, not content to be bullied around with these violations of the Geneva Convention, nuclear warfare. We have entered the age of destruction. And it still was not enough to kill Race. The problem is, Race has got to do a lot with this. The top Raptor will die. But these 2 Raptors, still very healthy. How much can he get done here? Of course, the D-gun is still an option. The Raptor's taking a lot of fire, but again, Pink is going to have to D-gun if he wants to save his base. Can he get both Raptors in one D-gun? He gets one Raptor. Oh no, is Race not paying attention? Oh no, Race loses both the Raptors to... Oh man, I don't think Race was watching. Because a regular uncloaked commander just killed both of his Raptors while he was focused on something else. And I think with that, the wind has just been taken out of his sails here. He needed to at least kill Pink with that attack. If he had just been watching and targeted his commander. How low did he get? He didn't get that low, but yeah, he could have killed his commander in just mere seconds. But of course, the Empyrean is now on the field, so Race is not out. He has survived everything. He survived a 1v3. He did lose both of those Raptors, but the Novas, I think, are still alive. Let's see how many kills. 89 kills on that Nova. 89. Holy freaking cow. Green calling for more nukes. The Eastern team begging him to give up. Race, it's not in his genes. It's not in his DNA. The man won't give up. He won't quit. He can't even spend his metal. 1,200 per second, and he doesn't have the production power. Unfortunately, most of his production power was here. He had so many constructors. and lost them all. And I don't really like that he's rebuilding this even, because he's still only got the one protector. No, he built the second one, so maybe with these 2 protectors, it's enough. He's going to have to rebuild his production power to be able to use his metal and energy. But the game is still going. It still continues. Man, if only he had taken out Pink, this would be such a better situation for him. It'd be a 1v2. And a 1v2 is so much more doable than a 1v3. But still, Race very much in the game. He's got an army of Tempests. Diehat bringing his fighters to the north. But Race, of course, trying to finish another Raptor. He's still got that Nova. And he's got the Empyrean, which is slow. It's going to take forever. But once the Empyrean reaches the enemy team's base and starts shelling out waves and waves of artillery, I don't know if... Oh, man. It's Red attempting another off-map here, so... Diehat being a bit of the villain in this game, using off-mapping quite maliciously against the Western team, and now Race. But luckily, Escalation does have some protection against that, as you can see. Most of these will not be able to fire. So many Vertigos, though. He's going to be trying to take out some of the eco. The problem is, Race already has more eco than he can use. I mean, he can take out as much eco as he wants, but Race, that doesn't really hurt him too much at the moment. And Race attempting his own attack here on the east side. Green panicking, begging for help, but as the Raptor and the Empyrean move through, and these Tempests make it to the northeast of the map. We've got the hammer and the anvil strategy here. Tempest coming down from the north. Empyreans and Raptors moving through the west, and Bulldogs. Oh my god. And I think Race may have done it. I think he might actually be winning this 1v3 that he's come so close to losing so many times, but he won't quite kill the Ultra Vehicle plant. His Tempests do die, but it isn't over. The Empyrean now raining hell down on the Eastern team's base. A Raptor has made it into the business all the way into the heart of Mr. Diehat's base, and certainly he'll be wanting to take out those nukes if he can. But targeting the Ultra K-Bot Assembler is the Raptor, and now targeting the Ultra Aircraft Hangar, which this thing has just been such a thorn in their side, in his side, the whole game. And oh man, this Raptor is still at about half health. How much can he get done? Oh my god, Race is doing it. He is achieving the impossible. It just felt like he couldn't win so many times. And this Raptor just single-handedly carrying this for him. But the Empyrean is still at full health as well. I think the Raptor will eventually die, but the Empyrean very healthy. And I still don't think he's seen these nukes, but if he could target the nukes, that would almost guarantee that he has a victory. Unfortunately, the Empyrean no longer has any support at all. It's just it. Surrounded by units, surrounded by snipers. But, oh man. It's so close. This whole game, it has been so close. Tactical nukes being launched. The Empyrean doing what it can. Now moving south. Unfortunately, there's not as much critical things, critical targets, but nonetheless, the Empyrean, it will rain hell on the enemy team's base. Let's see, 49 kills already. More Vertigos joining the fray. The Empyrean now super low, but I think it has already dealt the damage it needed to. As you can see, the Eastern team's base in shambles. Huge swaths of units and buildings missing. Open areas. Radioactive wastelands dotting the entire archipelago. Oh man, what an impressive game this has been by both teams. The Eastern team's teamwork has been stellar, but Race has been even more stellar. And finally building an Armageddon, the T3 Mega Bertha. I think this is going to be over. Race calling GG now. Even he believes that the Eastern team has no chance of defying his will. Look at all of this. Look at all of this defense. And man, if that Armageddon can get completed, wouldn't that just be a treat to see a T3 Bertha rain down on the enemy base, taking out targets from half the map away. There's really there's no more air defense up here. The Eastern team's economy and production has been crippled. And with that, I think Race, he's done it. He's done the impossible. Even 3 nukes, not enough to finish him off. Targeting the forges. Not quite able to get those, but I think it's only a matter of time now. Man, what a game this has been. I mean, just well played by both teams. But ultimately, I definitely think we have to give Race MVP here. But Die-Hack gets a close second because he didn't have the economy Race did, but he used his resources very well, and especially with the Auroras, took out 2 players and almost took out Race multiple times. The Raptor now making it to the front, and this time hopefully he's paying attention and can target Pink's commander. Please kill him. Okay, this time he will watch. He will get him. Doesn't work a second time as Race not content to just lose the game like that. The first Raptor push stopped by a D-gun. But yeah, now everything is crumbling for the Eastern team. Race has done it. I think probably still working on his Armageddon. Oh, it's finished now. The Armageddon is complete. And with that, I think the game will draw to a close. So guys, thank you very much for watching this. Like I said, this is going to be an epic one, and it was epic. And Race just putting on a show for us. What an incredible display of skill and tenacity by our blue player. So guys, thank you very much for watching. And I guess I'll see you in the next cast.